Instagram now. All right, party people. We're going to be talking about Endgame, and we're going to be providing spoilers. And if you didn't see it, now's the time to back the fuck out of it.
Turn away now.
Turn away now.
Abandon hope, all ye.
Okay, so do you want to give a brief synopsis of what happened in the movie, or do you want to talk about the universe as a whole? Because I'd like to discuss where all the stones were, where they got them, which is information that we know from Infinity Wars and prior to Infinity Wars.
Well, go ahead.
Okay.
You seem to.
No, JL, I'm telling you right goddamn now. JL's in the room. Y'all say hi to the brother. JL's in the room. Nigga, we spoiling. Like, we literally got Wes on the call and he ain't seen it, and that's his fault. So we spoiling. Okay? We is spoiling Endgame. So we telling you now, if you want to see it, and we would hate to spoil it for you. So this ain't for you if you haven't seen it. But we don't have the ability to wait another week. Normally we give people 2 weekends. Nah, we can't do that. Not now. We done waited too long. All right. Let me get to my notes. Yes, I did notes and research. All right. So we have the Mind Stone, the Reality Stone, the Soul Stone, the Time Stone, the Space Stone, and the Power Stone. Did I miss one? Yes, that's it. The Mind Stone was the stone that was in Loki's scepter. It was also in Vision's head.
Correct.
And it was the stone that in the movie was in New York in 2014. The Reality Stone was a stone.
Yeah, two of them were together.
The Reality Stone was a stone that was with the Collector.
Correct.
From Guardians of the Galaxy.
Because they got it from the ether.
Power Stone.
That was
the ether.
That's the Reality Stone. The Soul Stone was on the planet Vormir with Red Skull. No, because it's two stones and you mixing them up. So the Soul Stone. I'm gonna go back to you, Thess. The Soul Stone was on the planet Vormir with Red Skull. We all agree on that,
yes.
Right? The Time Stone was in the eye of Agamotto with Doctor Strange.
Right.
And that was a stone that was in 2014 as well. The Space Stone is the Tesseract, right?
Yes.
And it was and the Tesseract is literally the compartment that the Space Stone was in.
Yes.
Right. And
but it was also with Loki in New York. Those two stones were together for the longest time.
And it literally was allegedly in 1970.
Right.
Okay, so the Power Stone was a stone that was within the orb.
And that was with?
And that was the one that
was with the Collector.
The Nova Core. No. It was with the Nova Core.
No, he's right.
They got it from the Collector and gave it to Nova Core at the end of the movie.
Yeah, he's right.
No, wait, hold on.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the Collector sent them to get that orb. To get that stone, and in the rest of the movie, they running around, because I just saw this recently. They running around trying to not get caught, to hide the orb, to hide whatever, and they finally end up at the end of the movie giving that orb stone, whatever, to Nova Corps.
Okay.
At the end of the movie. Okay, so that was the Power Stone. So that's just saying that I was incorrect about the Reality Stone, but that was the stone in Guardian of the Galaxy. I'm sorry, that was the stone that during Infinity Wars that
was Thor 2, the dark.
That was the stone that was inside the lady?
Yes.
Okay, so was that also the stone that that Thanos got in Infinity Wars? That's also the stone that he got where he had split the person in half. The what's the lady with the bug antennas on?
Right, that's right. That's what he got from the Collector, because at the end of the Dark World, towards the Dark World, two of the Asgardians brought it to the Collector and said it is not wise to have two Infinity Stones on Asgard, referring to the Tesseract, the Space Stone, and which was the Tesseract and the Reality Stone. So that's why they gave it to the Collector, and you see him all happy and
okay. So every stone had something that it was in, except the Reality Stone, because it was literally inside of a person at one point. The Soul Stone was being guarded. The Time Stone had a device that it was in. The Space Stone was inside the Tesseract. The Power Stone was in the orb. Okay. With that being said, can we talk about the Tesseract and its timeline? Because I'm very, very confused about the timeline of the Tesseract.
Why? They tried to clear it up with Captain Marvel. Okay, the Tesseract was on Earth.
So here it is. The Tesseract's timeline should it not have been in the ocean with Cap in the 1970s, as well as in the 1990s, because Captain Marvel had the Tesseract being in the facility with Marvel in the 90s. This latest movie had it also being they also had it in the 70s. But if you watch Captain America, the Tesseract went down with the Captain, and it was in the ocean, frozen for 70 years. Am I wrong about that?
Right, and they make the joke that when he goes to get him in the first Avengers, he's like, we pulled the Tesseract out with you and he said, well, is there anything we should know about he said, you should have left it in the ocean with me. You should have left it in the ocetion. So that was his quote, end quote.
So I'm under the impression, either one of y'all, any one of y'all can answer. I'm under the impression that the Tesseract was in the ocean with him and came up with him. Or y'all saying that the Tesseract came out of the water before Captain America came out of the water.
It had to.
According to the first Captain America, because I don't remember the movie, I'm saying that they pulled the two things out, him and the Tesseract out at the same time. Was it in the ocean for 70 years? Because that means
that's what I'm trying to remember. So
because if it was in the ocean for 70 years, then it came out in 2015 or something like that. Whenever the first Captain American movie came out.
Well, then it obviously couldn't have, because it was at the facility in the 70s.
Well, come on, they had to make things happen for the end of the movie. I'm talking about the way they wrote Captain America initially. Did the Tesseract come out with him?
I'm pretty sure it didn't. And I'm pretty sure that with this being a 22-movie, 11-year span, they wouldn't have missed the fucking plot hole like that.
Okay, so
I'm pretty fucking sure that if they specifically said that the Tesseract had been down there for 70 years with Cap, and it came up at the exact same time Cap did, then they wouldn't have put that into the end of the movie. I really don't think that they would have did that.
Who pulled the Tesseract out of the water? That was the dad,
Iron Man's father. Yeah.
Iron Man's father. So he didn't die until when? He died after the 70s, obviously.
Okay. All right, so I Googled what's the Tesseract with Captain America. In Captain America, the First Avenger, it's revealed that the Tesseract was brought to Earth by Odin centuries ago. In the film, the Red Skull finds the Tesseract and uses the power distributions for Hydra. But before he is defeated by Captain America, the Tesseract is retrieved by Howard Stark.
Okay.
So that would go into what you were saying.
So but Captain America wasn't retrieved by Howard Stark.
Correct.
Okay. I just wanted to make sense. I don't want to debate it.
Okay.
So the reason I brought up the question of the stones is because this is going to be a spoiler. In the movie, in Endgame, when they finally were able to, it's a big skip, sorry if you haven't seen it, to collect the stones and make the new Infinity Gauntlet, and they put it on Hulk. He was not gravely, but he was severely injured just by putting on the gauntlet. So here's the explanation that I had. It says, "Why?" The question is, why was Hulk hurt so bad just by putting on the gauntlet? That's the question. It says Thanos had the advantage of having his gauntlet made by the dwarves of Midlevere and slowly increasing the energy and power that each stone provided. So he got his gauntlet made with this metal that's supposed to be the strongest, the best, whatever, and then his stones came one by one by one. So they're all powerful stones, but I made a decision to tell you guys what each stone was encased in, because I want to show that they're powerful enough that you had to put them in something to protect yourself from touching them, right? So Thanos had the advantage of putting each stone in his gauntlet one by one, increasing the power, increasing his energy, and not being hurt. Although Hulk can handle the level of alleged gamma rays that was emitted by the gauntlet, his was made by materials from Tony Stark's, which wouldn't be as good of materials as the dwarves made on Midlevere. Agreed?
Correct.
Okay. So when Hulk put on this glove, Wes, sorry, I know you didn't see it. His arm was damaged by it.
His arm wasn't damaged until he snapped.
No, you have to watch how he reacted to putting on the glove. That's what I'm because it's kind of like showing how what the energy was doing to his arm, and then he snapped, and then his arm became damaged. Okay, so also when there was a point in the movie, West, where they were retrieving the stones, and Nebula, when she touched the stone, what happened to her arm?
The drink? Yeah.
West, Chef, we can still hear you. Okay.
No.
Chef, we can still hear you, Chef. Nebula went and touched the stone, and her hand literally melted. Hey, Virgo Sapphire, we're doing spoilers for Endgame, so I don't want to ruin the movie for you. So that's what I'm telling everybody as they enter. We're doing spoilers. We are doing spoilers. So if you have questions you want to ask about the movie, please include them, but we don't want to ruin it for anybody. Yeah, so Thesh, you know how what happened to Nebula.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm making a mention of it because her hand was damaged, and it was witnessed by what's this guy that
Yeah, but her hand got damaged getting it, not from the stone.
Different stones do different things. You saw that Hulk was able to hold the time stone in his hand, and so was the Ancient One. So was Doctor Strange.
Right, but
the Power Stone is the one that people couldn't hold.
Okay.
That was why it was such a big deal that the Guardians all had to hold it together at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy.
That is what I'm asking.
Because
that is what I'm
one
asking.
person couldn't hold the shit by themselves.
In my mind,
he was, and at that point, he was still connected to Ego, his father, who he was celestial.
In my mind, I'm wondering, why did they need all the Guardians to hold that one stone, and then the other stone, one is inside somebody's body and she's not dead, and somebody else touched and her arm is fucked up. Like, so it was like the power of each stone was, I'm thinking each stone you couldn't touch with a bare hand.
Mm-mm.
Each one is
its own different thing.
Okay.
The Time Stone is in the Eye of Agamotto because the Eye of Agamotto itself is a spell that protects it from anybody taking it from the Sorcerer Supreme.
Right.
So he can be asleep with the Eye of Agamotto on, and somebody can't just take it off of his neck.
Speak on it. Okay, so here's the thing. Tony Stark was able to swipe all the stones and hold them all in his hand before he developed a little bit of gauntlet of himself. So he had hit the Power Stone in his hand before his snap, and he didn't have the level of damage and him touching them few stones that are supposed to be so powerful that they burn you, and they you know, they needed other people.
But the thing about it is, what you've got to take it back to is the Power Stone that burned people. It was basically destroying organic material. That's why when Nebula touched it, it fucked up her, like the fake hand that was around the skeleton.
Right.
That's why that part wasn't really damaged. Tony didn't touch that shit with his bare hand.
He touched it with his Iron Man suit. Okay. All right. But he was able to hold all what is it, 5 or 6 in them?
6. And he also did not hold them for very long.
Right. And he also paid the price for holding them, which is the major spoiler, Wes. Sorry. I like to keep reverting back to Wes and going, sorry. Because Joe asked.
No, don't apologize. No. Like I said, I willfully am on here because and it's not a spoiler for me because, like I said, there are plenty of videos on YouTube that will tell you everything. So we're good.
So earlier when we weren't online, I asked the question.
My biggest thing is the one thing that I did say. The one thing that I said was one of my few predictions did come true. Which was everyone who had been snapped would be unsnapped.
Yeah, right.
And those who were actually killed would stay dead.
And you said that, and you were correct. I knew, because people were upset that Vision didn't return, but Vision actually returned from the dead via the snap that which was funny, because I understand why people expected to see him back, because he was killed and snapped back and then killed again in the snap. So it should have...
No, he was killed when they pulled the thing out of his head.
Exactly. So he wasn't killed again in the snap. He was already gone.
Dead. Wanda kills him. He brought him back.
They brought him back
thing out of his head.
Didn't they bring him back? Didn't Thanos bring Vision back with a time stone?
Yes, and then remove the time stone, and then remove the mind stone from his head.
Right, killing him.
Exactly.
Killing him.
Right.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Because he was killed, there's no returning.
He should not have been.
And then the snap happened afterwards.
Correct.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm not debating, you guys. I'm just clearing up the timeline. So, another question is, okay, so you have this time stone, and you're able to snap and bring people back and forth. Why wasn't Tony snapped back?
One, that's not what... The snap doesn't just activate the time stone. The snap is for all of the stones together. And it didn't bring people back to life. It brought people that had been
snapped away,
disappeared,
right,
back.
So then literally somebody can undo what Tony Stark did at the end.
They got the stones again.
In theory, yeah.
Right.
In theory, yeah.
Okay, so I wanted it to be said that the real hero of Endgame was motherfucking Mickey Mouse. Your ordinary, random storage facility rat runs across the device that was in the van belonging to Ant-Man. It was sitting on the console, and the rat just ran over it, and I guess it took him 5 years to do it, but he ran over the device in the van, and here comes what's his name, Ant-Man, back
from the quantum realm.
From the quantum realm. So a rat rescues him, and then he decides that let me give this theory, and then we need Tony Stark's, and Tony Stark says no, you need the Hulk, and then finally he comes, and all three together figures out a way to make it happen. So when the Hulk tried to bring to use, you know, to make a time machine. First of all, they did a very good job in this movie by discrediting every other movie that fucked with time machines. You know what I mean? Mentioning them by name and saying that shit wasn't real. That's not how that worked. That they did a very good job to set you up in your mind to say, "Fuck them, listen to us." This is we're saying how it works.
No Marty McFly.
Yeah, so they mentioned that one. They mentioned they did a lot of good job with Easter eggs as far as mentioning other movies to say you can't just do like Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you can't just walk in, it's going to be booby trapped, and like they had a lot of pop culture references from movies. And which was funny to me because you are a fucking movie. How dare you discredit these other movies?
Well, that's what Spider-Man's lovely little thing is. He's like,
right.
Mr. Stark, remember this movie?
Right. Which was Empire Strikes Back or whatever. Well, he kept saying kept trying to stop Spider-Man from all his pop culture references and whatnot. Him being so close to Tony Stark, only to have this movie happen, this Endgame happen, and now Rhodey is doing the same thing, you know, mentioning other movies, mentioning, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark, or like why are you doing it now? And you're a grown ass man. You can imagine a little boy's doing it because now he got somebody smart as he is to talk about it with. But Rhodey should have been seen that shit. And why are you bringing that up to Nebula, who ain't never seen no movies at all? Point blank, period. Not no Raiders, not no time machine shit, not nothing. Why are you telling her she can't do this because you saw it in a movie? So that it was cute. And then you also had to know about the Big Lebowski and all, like, so those little things were cute in the movie. Then again, the Russo brothers, one of them being in it, the same one that was in Winter Soldier, Joe Russo. In Winter Soldier, he played the doctor that declared Nick Fury dead.
Okay.
And then in this movie, he played somebody that was a part of the support group that was led by Captain America.
Not just somebody, let's call it what it was. The first openly gay reference Marvel character.
Yeah, he did. Unnamed in the movie, but reference in general to anything gay. And I feel like that happened because if you look at, I think this might have been fan fiction or theory, but I think they're trying to say Captain Marvel and Valkyrie, like, set that up to be a thing.
Yeah. That was one of the fan theories I heard.
They even tried to they tried to imply, you know, they always tried to imply
on their Twitter feeds they have like a love fest going on, so that's the, you know, they are
supposed to be in a little bit of an intellectual bromance between Hulk and Iron Man, and then the relationship between Bucky and Cap was supposed, you know, like you can't just be friends with a motherfucker or close friends with somebody. They all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that's a little gay, that's a little queer, little whatever. But they're like, if you look at commenters in some of these theories after having seen it, they try to make it seem like social justice warriors are ruining the MCU, trying to make the new Captain America black, trying to make the person that rules Asgard a black woman instead of Thor. Like they felt like they emasculated the Hulk, but Hulk spent all this time setting up the premise that this is who I'm becoming. Like the whole last movie, he had his one fight that he lost. He took that L, and he spent the rest of Infinity Wars basically not being the Hulk, being Banner. So now he gets to he gets to Endgame, and he's both of them. They're at peace with each other, and they want.
But that's something that's in the comic. That's not emasculating. This is something that's been in the works long before now.
Right. That's what I'm saying. To me, that's growth. But they feel like they still want the ferocity of Hulk.
All of those things.
Yeah, that's not
are in the comic. Captain America's mantle went to a black man in the comics. Thor was a woman after he was Thor Odin's son.
I'm still a little confused about the Captain America.
I'm not, because we knew that Sam.
He ain't got no power. He ain't got no power.
But Captain didn't have no power either.
What are you talking about?
He had the serum, of course.
That's what I'm talking about. He's enhanced.
Listen, y'all,
I think if they're gonna make the black Captain America, are they gonna enhance him? Are they just gonna leave him with?
Remember if Sam got enhanced?
Yeah, are they gonna leave Falcon with wings and a shield?
Yeah,
wings and a shield.
Yeah, they are.
Hey, that's what it was in the comic book.
Are they gonna make him
enhanced? That's what it was in the comic book.
With the wings and the shield.
With the wings and the shield in the comic book film.
His enhancement was wings and the shield, but if you watched him in Civil War and other movies, those wings have been snatched off like that. You know what I mean? So he's gonna need more. But then, if we're so mad, why would we be so mad at Sam for being new Captain America without power, but we okay with Widow just being able to fight, and this nigga Widow?
Because that's Widow.
She's an assassin. She's always been that way.
Yeah. But okay, so what about Clint? I can just fight.
Clint always pokes fun at the fact that I'm out here. I don't have any powers. I'm here with a bow and arrow, and he holds his own. But he's also a soldier. He's a trained soldier too.
You can't be Captain America with no powers. That's all I'm saying. Can't be Captain America.
But
you ain't got no power.
You could be Widow with no power.
She ain't got no power. We know that. We know that Clint. He ain't got no power.
Damn it, Chef. You want to get a nigga some power.
Captain America if you ain't got no power.
But your shield is made of Wakandan vibranium.
It's like the new Thor, but you ain't got no hammer. You ain't got no power. I need you to have some kind of, you be able to jump and run.
She ain't got no hammer.
And also in the film, Thor, with going back in time, he retrieved his hammer from his certain time frame and used it in Endgame. So he had to everything that they did time wise in pulling the stones, they had to promise to return them back to their original time. So one thing I'm trying to figure out is Captain America was the person that they chose to do all the returning of the stones to their proper places. That being said, he had to go to Asgard. How you know how to get to Asgard, Mr. Captain America? You ain't really been no place but Earth.
Didn't he have the Mylota?
He had, yeah. So how is that taking you back when? How I can see how you're going back in time, but how is it taking you? I don't understand how he got to Asgard. That's what I'm saying.
The hammer.
How do you get to Vormir? How do you get to any of them? The stones know where they needed to go.
How does he get the stone back inside of I have to warn somebody else that stepped in the